when you allow local contractors to partake of these particular tenders, Mr. Speaker, then at the end of the contract, the project is complete, it remains in Homa Bay. And if the contractor was from Homa Bay, when you pay him, the money remains in Homa Bay. The risk of allowing these millions of shillings to be given contractors from outside Homa Bay, outside Kakamega, outside Turkana, is that the money leaves the CRF account to the contractor, and that day or the following day, it leaves the county of Homa Bay, county of Turkana, county of Kakamega, and migrates to go to where the contractor was coming from. So it does not circulate in the economy of the local county, and therefore there is capital flight. Look, if you pay this man who has built a market in Haega, and the man comes from Kakamega, this guy makes a profit of 30 million shillings. Mr. Speaker, this guy, even if he ends up building a house for himself in his home, the local contractors of that home will be from that home, and the money will circulate in that place. Those contractors will pay school fees for their children. That money will be in that county. We must discourage, because there are contracts going on in all the 47 counties. Mr. Speaker, the committee has spoken to the issue of incomplete fixed asset register. I allowed you, and I'm glad that you have remained hawk-eyed. You flagged it out, although it was resolved. And
would you want to be informed by Senator Kajwang?
Yes, I would like him to inform me, especially in view of the accolades that I gave him at the beginning of my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to inform the Senator on that point, and actually the House, that Narok County Assembly has managed to secure a title deed for the land on which the Assembly sits. And the rest of the county assemblies are still struggling with it. And that's part of the asset management. And that's why it's going to be a query in all the county assemblies. And I want to encourage each individual senator to help the county assembly to acquire a title deed to the land on which the assemblies sit, because they are not supposed to be squatters on county executive land. In some counties, you find that they are squatters on national government land, and I encourage assemblies to look at what Narok did. They are landlords, they have the title deed in the name of County Assembly of Narok, and I know Senator Bass is still dealing with the issue of transfer of assets and liabilities. So I just wanted to inform the Governor from the context of assets that even Kakamega County Assembly needs to have its title deed.
Senator Kajang, are you informing the Governor or the Senate of Kakamega?
I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker. Governor shall be 2027. For now, Senator.
Thank you. Speaker, be so informed. He has informed you after informing me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, having congratulated the committee for flagging out the issue and resolving the issue of fixed assets, there's something I want to say about fixed assets. Chair, try and put further pressure to the leadership of our county assemblies. We want to see the fixed asset called the debate chamber in all our 47 counties. If you go to Kilifi, for example, if you go to Mandera County, for example, and quite a number of other counties, they have put up modern debate chambers, a good fixed asset. But there is no justification. Why, despite having these billions of shillings, county assemblies in certain counties have not constructed chambers? Mr. Speaker, it's very annoying that in the county assembly of Kakamega, there is no fixed asset called the debate chamber. If you were to visit the chair, you would be shocked. The building where they are debating from is the same building that was constructed in 1930s by the colonials when they were practicing governance in Kakamega. It's a ramshackle, it's a useless thing. We must put pressure under the county government of Kakamega to ensure that they construct a modern chamber. Mr. Speaker, there are other matters that were also flagged out by the committee, including budget control and performance, and I'm glad, Mr. Speaker, that these issues have been resolved. Having spoken to these issues, I want to conclude by speaking to only two other issues. The Office of the Auditor General. We should never fail to congratulate them, because without them, we cannot be where we are. They are our main resource team that gives us the quality reports that we use to put these governors and speakers and clerks to account. And there should be no excuses, because today the Office of the Auditor General is properly resourced. They have even put up regional hubs, and we expect them to work. If their problem is because of devolution, they have a challenge of staff, they must come to us as Parliament so that we give them more money, because without these audit reports, governance can never succeed. Finally, but not least, the ESCC. ESCC time has now come. The Public Accounts Committee has been sending you reports, asking you to take actions, and we have seen nothing. ESCC, you cannot start pretending that you want to supervise how we do legislation here. Even telling and misleading the country that we were involved in a piece of legislation here that watered down the oversight role or watered down your work. A lie. Total lies. We expect the ESCC to work. And ESCC, if you don't work, if you choose to engage in politics, the way I saw you running after the distinguished Senator of Marsabit, if you have problems with the Senator of Marsabit, don't call the media. That is a channel that you use as ESCC. ESCC does not conduct its business through the media. It should have been the media reporting that you have been found either at the office of the Senator of Marsabit or at his home. You have found he has stolen money and you are dealing with him. But for you to call a press conference and start catwalking, no. ESCC, that was not the intentions of Chapter 15 commissions in the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. It is this careless approach by heads of certain institutions to conduct himself. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Are you please 1 minute? Yes.
One minute to conclude.
Thank you,
Senator.
Mr. Speaker. With a lot of meaning, it is also this poor conduct by heads of institutions that cause confusions amongst the youth until the youth think they should come and storm this parliament. If anybody had properly guided our youth, Mr. Speaker, the youth, if they had chosen to storm this parliament, they would not have come to the Senate. They would have gone to the National Assembly. The finance bill does not go through the Senate. The finance bill that almost cost us lose this house goes to the National Assembly. So they should have gone to the National Assembly. In fact, I want them to put pressure under the National Assembly. If the Gen Z should come back again, Gen Z, please go to the National Assembly. Don't come to this Senate. In fact, thanks to this Senate, Mr. Speaker, we have been able to get a compromise position that...
Thank you, Senator. Senator Senator Mogeni, Eric.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I want to begin by thanking the mover of this motion, son of Rose Auma Ajuang, and Mr. David Ajuang Nyakwamba of Homa Bay. I hope I got the names right. Yeah, Mr. Speaker, if you are one of the senators who normally appear when your governor appears before the committee or led by Senator of Homa Bay, Senator Kajwang, you will always feel the joy that Senator Kajwang is the chair of that committee because of the understanding of the issues, Mr. Speaker. And I want to thank Senator Kajwang for the good work he has done for us as senators, as chair of a Public Accounts Committee. Mr. Speaker, if you didn't know, most governors normally send inquiries to know who will be chairing. Is it Senator Kajwang or there will be somebody else? If they confirm it's Senator Kajwang, they try to prepare because they know he has a good grasp and understanding of the issues. Senator Kajwang, we are proud of you. And we are really proud of the good work you are doing and the effort you have put in place to ensure that there is accountability from our governors. Mr. Speaker, it's also under his watch that we were able to incorporate an officer, I hope I'm right there, from EACC to sit through the sittings of Senator Kajwang's committee so that EACC can get first-hand the wanton thefts that take place at counties. That was innovative, and we really thank you, Senator Kajwang. And he's also a very good-hearted person, Senator Kajwang. Mr. Speaker, I was bereaved sometimes last year in my ward of Bosamaro, Mr. Speaker. And I was surprised, Mr. Speaker, during the funeral to see Senator of Homa Bay walk in to come and bereave with the Mogeni family. I had lost my uncle, Mzee Auka Mogeni, father of Dr. Evans Omwangarita, and Senator Kajwang attended the funeral to bereave with us. So at a personal level, he's also a very kind-hearted person. So we are glad to have you as our senator, and we really pray that the people of Homa Bay will continue sending you back to the Senate so that you can continue serving us. Now, on the report from the county of Homa Bay, of Nyamira, Mr. Speaker, I want to bring it to the attention of the House, Mr. Speaker, that all the issues that were raised by the Auditor General remain unresolved, sadly, Mr. Speaker. The county headquarters that remained incomplete when these reports were issued by the Auditor General on 30th of June 2020 remain incomplete up to now. Mr. Speaker, I speak with a heavy heart because last time the County Assembly of Nyamira appeared before the committee that is led by Senator Kajwang, it was a debacle, Mr. Speaker. It was like a comedy, Mr. Speaker. The information that was tendered through a report that was signed by the County Public Service Board that indicated that they had made payments to the tune of 150 million did not get the concurrence of the accounting officer, the clerk of the County Assembly of Nyamira. And it raised doubts, Mr. Speaker, as to whether somebody in the County Assembly has embezzled over 40 million shillings. Because the accounting officer, the clerk of the County Assembly of Nyamira, was categorical that he could not confirm that that payment was made to the contractor, Mr. Speaker. And it is regrettable, Mr. Speaker, that after the committee directed that the County Public Service Board should ensure that he gets back his role as accounting officer, he was instead, Mr. Speaker, suspended by the County Public Service Board. You can see the level of impunity, Mr. Speaker, that is cropping up in this country, Mr. Speaker. And that's happening after the issues have come to the fore. Recommendations have been made by the committee chaired by Senator Kajwang that EACC should move in, do investigations, and arrest the culprit. And I'm sorry to say, Mr. Speaker, that instead of EACC, parading Senator Chute in their offices, how I wish they could go for a case like this, Mr. Speaker, where clearly public money to the tune of 40 million shillings have been lost, Mr. Speaker. And the accounting officer has appeared before the Senate of the Republic of Kenya and confirmed that they cannot account how that money has been spent, Mr. Speaker. I have worked in that body called EACC. I know the CEO, Mr. Speaker. I want to plead with him, Mr. Speaker, to take issues that are raised by the Senate of the Republic of Kenya seriously, to take issues that are raised by the Auditor General seriously, Mr. Speaker, to take serious issues that are raised by the Controller of Budget, Mr. Speaker. I have no doubt, Mr. Speaker, that the members of a committee that is led by Senator Kajwang don't manufacture the auditor reports, the reports that come from the Auditor General. That is a public office that has got no interest. I don't think, Mr. Speaker, from all these counties that are listed here, County of Isiolo, Kiambu, Kitui, Marsabit, Narok, Nyamira, Trans Nzoia, West Pokot, Murang'a, I don't think the Auditor General has any personal interest in these counties, other than discharging our constitutional role on looking at the expenditure of funds that are sent to these counties, Mr. Speaker. I don't think the control of budget has an intention of vying for position of governor in any of these counties. Neither does Senator Kajwang. He doesn't want to move to Nyamira and run for governor, Mr. Speaker. He just wants, Mr. Speaker, money that goes to the county government of Nyamira to be spent for the benefit of the people who reside in Nyamira County, Mr. Speaker. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, without accountability, Mr. Speaker, we will convert counties to avenue where people enrich themselves, Mr. Speaker. It's not right that year in, year out, the Auditor General generates reports that raise issues of financial improprieties in our counties, but we don't see any action, Mr. Speaker. The issue that was raised on conflict of interest law that came to this Senate, Mr. Speaker, we did not mutilate the conflict of interest law. All we did, Mr. Speaker, is to remind Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission that those offenses that they are trying to create in the conflict of interest legislation are already captured in other pieces of legislation, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, I can even table evidence before the Senate to demonstrate that there are a number of governors who are already in court charged with the offense of conflict of interest in line with Section 42 of the Economic and Anti-Corruption Act, Mr. Speaker. The Senate, the former governor of Samburu, is already facing a court case on conflict of interest, Mr. Speaker. The former governor of the county government of Nairobi is already in court, charged under Section 42 of the Anti-Corruption Legislation on conflict of interest, Mr. Speaker. The former governor of Kiambu, who was impeached by this House, is already facing charges in courts of law, again on breach of that section 42. So it's not right for EACC to create the impression that we are trying to weaken legislations dealing with corruption. In fact, Mr. Speaker, where I would like to work with EACC is how can we, as a Senate, or as the collective parliament of the Republic of Kenya, fast-track conclusion of investigations on cases touching on corruption. On that one, I would like to partner with EACC, Mr. Speaker. How we ensure that there is speedy conclusion of cases touching on corruption offenses are heard and concluded within the statutory period of 6 months, Mr. Speaker. That way, we'll be genuinely responding to a matter that is of concern to most of us. Because how can it be right, Mr. Speaker, that despite the good work that the committee has done, despite the investigations that have been undertaken by EACC, despite the decision that has been made by the DPP to prosecute governors who have been involved in corruption, Mr. Speaker, there is not even one conviction. Cases that were taken to court in 2019 are still pending in court in the year 2024, Mr. Speaker. You witnessed the trial of the former president of the United States of America. It was on CNN, we all watched. In a record period of 10 days, the case was presented before the court, evidence taken, and a verdict delivered. Maybe we need to as a country, to re-examine whether we need to take the jury system, if that's what will help us, Mr. Speaker, in having, faster hearing and conclusion of corruption cases. Without deterrence, Mr. Speaker, we'll convert this House into rewriting the Book of Lamentations. We cannot be coming here every now and then. We get good report from committee led by Senator Kajwang, but all we do is lamentation. Mr. Speaker, I was watching yesterday my governor, my good friend Governor Nyaribo, Mr. Speaker. He appeared before the committee of Senator Kajwang, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, one of the issues that were being investigated by the committee, or one of the issues that came to the attention of the committee, Mr. Speaker, was a fraudulent payment of 6.5 million that the governor made to himself, Mr. Speaker. And when questioned, Mr. Speaker, he said, yes, I fraudulently paid myself. And the payslip was there. But he said, quietly, me and the EACC, we entered into an out-of-court settlement, and I agreed to refund the money quietly. So this money has quietly been refunded, so I'm okay now. So yesterday he was saying, if I am a criminal, why hasn't EACC arrested me? Mr. Speaker, there is what we call a trickle-down effect. If EACC walks to Nyamira and finds that a governor has fraudulently paid himself 6.5 million, you settle that quietly under the table. What will other members of staff serving below the governor do? Because you have set a precedent. You have said, if you are caught, you should talk EACC, you settle, and you are left scot-free. Mr. Speaker, I'm a lawyer and a senior lawyer. That's not how the criminal justice system works. Mr. Speaker, the criminal justice system says that if you steal public money, you belong to the jails. Mr. Speaker, if you have stolen public money, you have been caught, and you have admitted, then you have breached Chapter 6. You are unfit to occupy public office. And Mr. Speaker, so that we are seen as a house that is objective, Mr. Speaker, I'll be pleading with this House that we have EACC summoned here, Mr. Speaker. Oh.
Thank you, Senator Mugeni. When this debate resumes, you'll have a time remaining of 5 minutes to conclude your submission. Honourable Senators, it is now 1 p.m., time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until today, Wednesday, 31st July 2024 at 2:30 p.m.
Leader, resume leo.
We hope so.
This one today.